All right, so let's jump right into something that's causing quite a political stir these days.
Yeah.
It's H-1B visas. You'd think immigration is pretty straightforward.
Right.
But this whole situation with Elon Musk and President-elect Trump and what the public thinks about it, it's anything but simple.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really exposes the knots we tie ourselves into, I think.
Yeah.
Trying to balance, what Americans want versus what businesses need.
Right.
And how do we stay globally competitive? It's a tough one.
Exactly. Okay, so for our listeners who haven't encountered this before, H-1B visas are basically how U.S. companies can hire people from other countries to fill these specialized jobs, the kind they say they just can't find enough Americans to do.
Right, those super specific skill sets.
Exactly. And the source material we're diving into today is this Newsweek article that really digs into all this. And what makes it so interesting right now is because of President-elect Trump.
Yeah, because his whole America First platform, you'd think,
yeah,
that would clash with the idea of bringing in more foreign workers.
Right.
But then he's also on record saying he's actually pro H-1B.
Yeah.
He's even used them himself.
It's like, what? It's a real head-scratcher.
Yeah.
Especially when you throw in what the public thinks.
Right.
A Rasmussen Reports poll found that 60% of Americans believe we've got enough skilled people right here in the U.S.
Wow.
Only 26% are in favor of increasing foreign workers.
Interesting. And even more interesting.
Yeah.
59% think companies should just, bite the bullet, raise wages.
Yeah.
And actually try harder to recruit from the pool of unemployed Americans.
Right.
Even if that means we end up paying more for things.
So that's the question, isn't it? Would you be okay with things costing more if it meant more jobs for people already here in the U.S.?
It's a tough one.
It's a tough choice. It's like choosing between your wallet and your neighbor's job.
Exactly. And that's where Elon Musk comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Loud and proud, as always.
Always.
He's been all over X, fiercely defending the H-1B program. Even saying he's ready to go to war over it.
He's not messing around.
Not at all. And this isn't some theoretical debate for him.
Yeah.
He's saying straight up that Tesla and SpaceX, his own companies, owe their success to these visas.
That's a big statement.
It is. Which makes sense when you consider that Musk himself got his start in the U.S. thanks to an H-1B visa.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
And a lot of his key employees are here for the same reason.
So he's putting his money where his mouth is.
Right.
But how does that square with Trump's position?
Right. Because he's known for being tough on immigration.
Exactly.
So this puts him in a really tricky spot.
Yeah.
Potentially alienating his base and some of his strongest allies.
It'll be fascinating to see how he handles this.
It will. Because even within the Republican Party, there's no clear agreement on this issue.
That's right. Congressman Tim Burchett, a Republican from Tennessee, he supports the H-1B program.
Okay.
But he's also super big on strict vetting for anyone coming in.
Yeah, so it's not just a yes or no thing.
No.
Even within the same political party.
It really highlights how complex this whole thing is.
Oh, it's so multifaceted.
Yeah.
It touches on everything you know.
Right.
From national identity to economic anxieties to the future of innovation in a globalized world.
And it's not just some abstract policy debate happening in a vacuum.
No way.
This program impacts real people, real businesses.
Absolutely.
Entire industries.
Right.
Think about companies like Amazon, Google, Meta.
Huge players.
They all rely on H-1B visas to bring in specific talent they say they need.
And it's not just limited to those tech giants either.
Right.
We're talking finance, academia, bringing in researchers and professors who contribute to advancements across all sorts of fields.
So with Trump back in the White House,
yeah,
his choices on this H-1B issue are going to be huge.
Huge. Yeah. They could signal a complete shift in Republican policy.
It's a big deal, and it could affect everything, from how companies operate to the opportunities available to international students and faculty.
Absolutely. And those decisions will ripple out far beyond our borders, too. It'll send a message to that global talent pool about whether America is open for business.
Right.
Or are we closing ranks and focusing inward?
That's like we're at a fork in the road, and which path we choose is going to have major consequences.
For sure.
For the future of American innovation and our standing in the world.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
This idea that on the one hand, you have this strong public sentiment to prioritize American workers, which is completely understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then on the other hand, you have these industry leaders like Elon Musk arguing that cutting back on global talent will actually hurt American innovation.
It's like we're trying to protect jobs today, but then also stay competitive on the world stage tomorrow. It's a tough balance.
It's a tug of war for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just the theoretical debate either, right?
Not at all.
We saw what happened during Trump's first term, when he tightened the rules around H-1B.
Yeah.
The processing of these visas slowed down significantly.
Oh, absolutely.
And that created all this uncertainty and delays for both the companies trying to hire and the people hoping to work here.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just a yes or no on these visas.
Right.
The way the program is run, the signals it sends, that matters just as much.
Totally. If talented people start to feel unwelcome, or they get bogged down in all this bureaucracy, they'll just take their skills elsewhere.
Right.
And America loses out.
Exactly. And that loss, it's not just about the economy either.
No.
It impacts research development, even cultural exchange.
Right.
Think about universities, for example. They use H-1B to bring in top researchers and professors who are really pushing the boundaries in so many different fields.
Okay, so we've got this political battle. We've got these big companies weighing in. But what about the average person? Like, why should they care about this whole H-1B visa debate?
Well, it really boils down to what kind of future we want for America.
Okay.
Do we want to prioritize being a global magnet for talent, even if it means there's more competition in the job market?
Okay.
Or do we want to prioritize protecting American jobs?
Right.
Even if it means potentially limiting our growth and influence globally.
It's a big question. It's a question that touches on everything.
It does.
From our wallets to our national identity to our place in the world.
And there isn't an easy answer.
Right.
There are legitimate points on both sides.
Yeah.
That's what makes this such a hot-button issue.
Totally.
And why everyone will be watching so closely to see how President-elect Trump navigates this.
It's a reminder that politics isn't just some abstract game.
No.
It has real consequences for people.
Yeah.
Businesses, for entire industries.
Absolutely. And we can't predict the future.
No.
But we can definitely stay informed.
Right.
Participate in these discussions. And make our voices heard on the issues that matter to us.
And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive.
That's right.
We want to equip you, the listener, with the information and the diverse perspectives so you can draw your own conclusions.
But to really understand the weight of this issue, we need to look a little deeper into how the H-1B program actually works.
Right.
It's not as simple as just, companies hiring whoever they want from overseas.
Right. There are rules, there are limits.
Yeah.
There's even a lottery system involved.
Exactly. Each year, there's a cap.
Okay.
On the number of H-1B visas, granted 85,000 to be exact.
85,000.
And the way those visas are allocated, it's through a lottery system.
Really? A lottery?
A lottery, which you guessed it, is another point of contention in this whole debate.
So it's not even just about whether to allow these visas at all.
No.
It's about who gets them, how that process is managed.
Exactly.
It's a lot more nuanced than some people might realize.
It really is. Yeah. And then there's the question of, which jobs actually qualify for an H-1B visa.
Right.
It's specifically designed for specialty occupations. Think high-skilled roles requiring a bachelor's degree or equivalent experience.
So it's not just like anyone can get one.
No, we're talking engineers, software developers, scientists, even university professors.
So companies aren't using this to bring in just anyone.
Right.
There's a specific focus on bringing in people with certain skills and expertise.
But that raises another layer of complexity, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, who decides which skills are specialized enough?
Right.
And are we defining those skills in a way that truly serves the needs of the American economy?
It's a good question.
Or are we unintentionally excluding talent that could actually contribute?
It's like trying to hit a moving target, right? The needs of the economy are constantly changing.
For sure.
And the definition of what is a specialty occupation might need to evolve as well.
Exactly. And that's where you get into the potential for abuse within the system.
Yeah.
Some argue that certain companies exploit H-1B to bring in cheaper labor and undercut American workers.
That's a serious concern for a lot of people.
It is.
And it feeds into that public sentiment we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That feeling that the system is rigged against American workers.
Exactly. So how do we strike that balance?
Right.
How do we make sure the program is serving its intended purpose
without
disadvantaging American workers or stifling innovation?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And there's probably not an easy answer.
Not at all.
But by understanding the complexities of the program, the lottery system, the focus on specific skills, we can at least start to have more informed and nuanced conversations about how to reform it. It feels like we're just scratching the surface here, you know?
Yeah.
There's so much to unpack with these H-1B visas.
Oh, absolutely.
The lottery system, the potential for misuse, the impact on all these different industries, the ripple effects on international students. It's a lot.
It's a microcosm of these larger issues facing America.
Right.
And honestly, a lot of developed nations.
Yeah. How do we stay economically powerful while still being fair to our own citizens?
It's a tough question.
It is. And how do we attract the best minds globally when there's this perception that they're taking jobs?
It's a real tightrope walk.
It really is. And President-elect Trump, he's right in the middle of it all, isn't he?
He is.
You've got Elon Musk basically lobbying for a policy that directly benefits his businesses.
Yeah, and then on the other side, you have this big chunk of the American public. And even folks within Trump's own party. Who are really uneasy about this idea of increasing the number of foreign workers.
It's like he's caught between a rock and a hard place.
He really is.
Yeah.
And what makes it so interesting is that it's not just numbers and policies we're talking about here.
No, it's people's lives.
It's real human impact.
Yeah.
Think about all those talented individuals all over the world hoping to contribute to the American dream.
And then you've got American workers who are worried about their jobs, feeling like they're being left behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the political calculations, the maneuvering, the balancing act of trying to please multiple groups with often conflicting desires.
It's a whole drama.
It's a real-life drama playing out right on the policy stage.
And this isn't going away, is it?
No.
As the world gets more and more connected, this whole flow of people and ideas across borders, it's only going to intensify.
It's like we need a whole new playbook for the 21st century.
We do. So how do we adapt? How do we create a system that's both fair and competitive, one that welcomes global talent, but also looks out for American workers?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
It's a tall order.
It is. There are no easy answers.
No, there aren't. But maybe just acknowledging the complexity, listening to all sides, and having, open and honest conversations. That's going to be a good starting point.
That's precisely what we've tried to do here in this deep dive. We've laid out the facts. We've explored the different viewpoints and hopefully given you, our listener, some serious food for thought.
Now, as we wrap up, we want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
This whole situation with H-1B visas and President-elect Trump, it really is a microcosm of a much bigger challenge. How do we balance economic needs with national identity in a world that's increasingly reliant on global talent?
It's a question we all need to grapple with, not just politicians or CEOs.
It affects all of us. So keep exploring this topic. Talk about it with others. Come to your own conclusions.
Because the future really hinges on how we navigate these complex, interconnected challenges.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.